So the biggest problem I have with Oblivion Remastered is the requirements. 125 gigabytes available space. It said 118 point whatever, but I don't know where the extra 7 gigabytes came from, but that's insane for a 19-year-old game. 2006, I remember, was released. The minimum requirements being a 2600X and a 6800K. Problem is, the recommended starts getting a little crazy. A 6800 XT or an NVIDIA 2080? What? Recommended, right? Not for maximum settings, recommended. Like, I was having frame rate issues, and I had a 7900 XT with a 7600X. But let's start with that, because most reviews are positive, obviously. I didn't say anything interesting. That's just people like simple thing. I agree with thing. Listen, when I agree with thing, I upvote it. When I disagree, I downvote it. So let's go with the first one. Big W for Speechcraft color wheel. You're British. You're European. I just noticed that. Big W for leveling XP changes. They didn't really change enough to where they should just went full Skyrim with it, but they didn't. Big W for being the first game I've ever played that has motion blur disabled by default. W's all around. Great review. That told me nothing. All right, let me preface this with saying I'm a huge fan of the original game. Good for you. No wonder this is a positive review. And you got 15 hours in. Who's 34 hours in? Okay, you actually had a lot of hours in. It wasn't just a small amount. Remember Monster Hunter World only had people had like 2 hours in for Wilds? Or not Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter Wilds, and it was 2 hours. 2 to 4 hours. I'm like, okay, well, we have people that actually played it for several hours, at least this time around. My main point, while Oblivion Remastered is the same structure, character design, for better or worse, and charm as the original, there are a few noticeable exceptions. This game is beautiful. Unreal Engine clearly outstrips Bethesda's Eternal Engine. It's not even close. No kidding. It's like it was a game that was made for Xbox or frickin' PS2 era. It was garbage when it came out in terms of graphics. Everyone knew this. That's not a surprise thing with Bethesda games at that point. We're not playing Oblivion and Skyrim for the graphics. Absolutely not. We accept it as being bad, but we recognize it as being bad. We do not try to curtail that criticism for other video games as well. If it looks bad, it's bad. It's sorry. Not going to sugarcoat it just because I have nostalgia or sentimentality over it. I don't think also Unreal 5 makes things look ugly, like clay-like. That's my biggest... or the way it's utilized for Oblivion specifically. It makes things look in the uncanny valley. That's the problem. It's just not at that level the way they used it in this game. Number 2, this game is not a modern AAA game, even though it looks like one. It's the skeleton of a 2006 game, with visual updates, a little new content, and some UI changes. I'm fine with Oblivion's UI on the bottom left-hand corner. If you wanted to enlarge it, that would be a good option for that, but other than that, it was fine. That was like the simplest way to deliver it. I argue that Skyrim made it worse because they spread it across the entire screen instead of just having it in one spot. The jankiness of the original is still there too. It is not optimized well at the time of writing, not uncommon for a character to teleport multiple abilities to cause. That's my biggest issue. You didn't fix any of the game problems. Unreal 5 is the definition of over-render for the sake of adding more, correct. There isn't enough people that argue that something is over something, not under. Yeah, significant lag in frame rate. That's what my criticism is, though. If you're going to remaster a game, the idea is that you fix the problems that were originally in the game, right? Graphics, frame rate, subtitles that were missing letters and words. But the whole point of a remaster, fix what the original had problems with. If you start changing it like what the original was made up of, it starts becoming a remake than a remaster. Number 3, it plays similarly to the original, but the things that were changed are a mixed bag. Sprinting and smoother combat are welcome improvements. Some of the modifications to the heads-up display directions of the map are not helpful. Correct. And I made that same criticism because they're not. They made that part. It's funny because it's darkened in Skyrim, but it makes sense in Skyrim because that's part of the aesthetic. It doesn't make sense for Oblivion. They turned the Skyrim UI into Oblivion, but not the proper transition for Oblivion. For example, I hate that you have to open your map and then click to zoom in to see the dungeon map. Thankfully, for the most part, developers left the design of inventory items, spells, and most of the components of the inventory character menu the same. There's a lot to add to my rant, both good and bad. As I play more, I'm sure I'll find things and might add them here. For now, I would encourage anyone to pick this up and enjoy Oblivion again, or even better, for the first time. This is a game where you probably would recommend it to someone new, but I wouldn't recommend it for people that have already played it. That would be my argument for this remaster, because the combat is different. It feels different, but I don't know. I mean, the game's jank anyway. I don't know what else to say, because Oblivion in the beginning is not... It's like, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it's very clanky, junky, stepping over its own toes. The thing with Steam is that there could be mixed reviews, right? There should be the mix symbol for a Steam review. Instead of up or down, it should be the tilde, or not the tilde, it's not, yeah, tilde, whatever. The swirly tilde, right? Which means approximately. I'd rather have that as a review thing instead of just up and down. I think the up and down system is too antiquated. You know, I'm not saying because it's, well, I mean, you can say bad things that's nuanced, obviously, and you could still recommend something despite having criticisms of it. But I think a proper mixed bag emoji or emote for this would be much better to explain these reviews. Because immediately when you see a thumbs up, you just feel like it's a shill. When you see thumbs out, It's either they're absolutely correct or they're just a moron. It's like there's no in between with Steam reviews anymore. It has too much of a history now. I barely have the words, but I will try. Firstly, I do recommend this game. Yes. Now, at first, I was skeptical instead of skeptical, because I have been playing the OG Oblivion since it came out, and part of what I loved about the game was the absolute mess it could be sometimes. Glitches, bugs, abominations, hilarious voice acting. Okay, this is the reason why modern games are in the state they are. I like Thing is bad. We accept... See, the problem is, what a lot of people didn't understand, when Thing was bad in game, we accepted it because we knew it wasn't going to change. It's different in the modern era when you could set a patch in day one. There's a charm to Oblivion, yes, but you shouldn't expect every game to be like that. Or better yet, not even be able to fix those things that were a part of it. I actually like some of the voice acting in Oblivion, to be fair. But it's over the top. It's goofy in some cases. I was part of the charm, but now a huge part of the nostalgia. However, I love these Bethesda games, so I knew I had to give the game a go and see. And when I tell you I felt like a teenager watching Oblivion for the first time in my entire life, yeah, this is really just like nostalgia bait, too. Bethesda shadow dropped this in one day. They had a trailer for it, and they released it the same day the trailer came out. Insane stuff. Also, over 100, it was like 150 to 200,000 people playing on Steam. Not on first day. I think right now it's still a whole lot. I was in absolute awe at the masterpiece in front of me just back in the day. It's not a... Okay. The game is graphically beautiful, but they have still kept the charm, the soul, if you will, Oblivion. No, they did not. This game is soulless. Problem in the modern era is saturation. They have a saturation problem. People back then, when they were making games with the CRT, understood flipping saturation on colors. Then modern era, they don't. Everything's smoke. Everything's bland. Desaturated, improper utilization of shading on colors. Hues are improper as well. They rely more on shading as a big thing. If you notice that NVIDIA and AMD even do it too. Ambient occlusion, shaders on everything. We gotta load shaders on everything. It sucks. It's obnoxious. I hate it. I wish it was never part of the modern era of gaming. I'm surprised there's no clown emoji here. Where's the gesture award? I call it a clown emoji. It's the gesture award. Oh wow, it does it for actually a nuanced thing. Wow. But I mean, it's not any criticism you ever heard before. Labao, there's some gestures here, as it should be. You know, I don't know if there's gestures here. There is one. Okay. You can create any Eldritch Hoarder. Okay, come on. We're like doing exception to the UE5 rule now. Color theory, art direction, stylization, what are those? They don't know what those are anymore. You can run into all kinds of absurd scripted silliness. That's just the original game, though. You're not giving any form of recommendation based on what's new. For a remaster, you have to tell me what's new in the game for me to buy it if I already own Oblivion. Like I said, for new players, they don't care. They just don't. Unless they care about certain graphics or bugs or whatever. But like I said, the original had that. This argument would be a graphics argument or an art style or maybe experience with using two-handed weapons or one-handed weapons. Like I said, Marksman's way too easy. It's absurdly easy in Oblivion Remastered compared to the original. These are the games that are known for stealth archering. Very famously so. Or I should say infamously and notoriously so. It is still Oblivion in every sense of the word, but now it looks as amazing as we all thought it did back in 2006. No one thought this looked amazing, even if you're being slightly sarcastic, because some of these people are just straight up honest. Like I said, this is a Poe's Law moment. Like, I feel like you are being genuine to say this. It's not that good looking. Now, I don't think Skyrim's that good looking either. This is how you do a remaster. This is exactly how you do a remaster. Incorrect. Halo CE Anniversary Edition, that whole pack. The Master Chief Collection is how you do a remaster. I think that's like almost perfect. Not only being able to just play the game in the original, but you can play it in new graphics you want. You can switch it with a button. Why can't I do this with this? Feels like there's wizardry that happened with the Master Chief Collection that no other person or company has understood since. People have asked me if they need to play the OG before playing this. The answer is they do not. The experience new players will have with the remaster is almost in every way, except for the fact that they are used to very advanced games these days. Matching experience us OG players have when we had our first potato character. I recommend this game with my entire heart and soul. You not to play the OG first. Yes, there are bugs, but that's a charm. You need to argue that for every game that's ever existed ever then. This is a clown-ass statement. Oh, yeah. Remember when Assassin's Creed Syndicate when the faces... Oh, that's just a unique charm. See, they won't argue that. Rules for Neve, not for me. But Oblivion's the exception to everything. No, Bethesda games are the exception. Yeah, is that why Starfield got a bad review? Okay. I just want to say this first is the best remaster I've seen in a long time. At first, I thought it was weird that they called it a remaster, not a remake, but after playing, I completely understand. It still plays like the original. No, it doesn't. Combat's a bit different. The animations are a bit different. Marksmaning is easier. Level system is close to the same, but it's different. There's also a dodge button. Did you see that I put in my freaking video that there's a dodge button? At level 25 acrobatics? Are you out of your mind? I don't think even Skyrim had a dodge in vanilla, but they gave it an Oblivion. A dodge? I think it'd been more aligned to do a parry, but I think people were sick of parries because of Dark Souls. They're sick of rolling, honestly. This game could use more optimization. There's something honest for, hey. But I can see some points made in other reviews, yeah. beautiful graphic. Okay, okay. Moving on. Anytime I see a game that says beautiful graphics, I'm like, yeah, no thanks. Yet nobody had an issue with rightfully dunking on instability of Assassin's Creed Unity's initially unstable launch. I know. Because, well, we expect the game to be buggy. That's the charm of it. No, fix the game. It's 2025 and you're remastering a 2006 game. That's the whole point. I keep arguing that day long. I feel like I need to make a video about it, but it's large, almost 119 gigabytes, although I think a lot of people are forgetting how large Skyrim with mods can get. You're so dumb. You cannot use this as an argument. You cannot use Skyrim, a game that was made in 2011, for a game that was made in 2006. Are you out of your mind? Bad argument. I wish we could give awards for certain statements. I wish I could put separate individual awards on certain parts of the review, so you know where the clown emoji goes or the gesture award actually goes. I've had a few crashes, but only played for 15 hours. Dude, I haven't had the game crash a single time, but the frame rate was ass. It was terrible, horrendous for a modern game. You can't just implement modern gaming graphics and then still have the same frame rate as the game back then. It's just, there's no excuse for that, none. Especially when you're shadow dropping it day one with a trailer. It's insane. I completely understand where people are coming from on this. It would have been nice to get a discount for owning the original, yes. Or put the original in the game like Halo Master Chief Collection did. Tomb Raider did it too for the first 3 games. There were PlayStation games, I'll give you that. But that doesn't excuse Master Chief Collection. You will say, well, the first 2 are Xbox games. Sure. Hey, but Halo 3 wasn't. They got all 3 games got new pre-rendered cutscenes, just like Oblivion did. Master Chief Collection looks way better than Oblivion Remastered does. In the pre-rendered cutscene department, I don't know about the gameplay. Should not be crashing at all in 15 hours. Correct. You shouldn't be crashing at all. And the big one, the price. Yes, this game is not worth $50. It should be $29.99 at best. I completely understand what people are. Yeah, I read that. But I understand wanting to pay the people who work their asses. Oh, shut up. Wanting to pay the people that work, just to put new graphics on a game. The game was already made. You just put new graphics on it. It's not that hard anymore these days. There's a reason why they shadow dropped. Excuse me. Why is it almost 60 times heavier than the original? No way they chalked it up to Unreal 5. Yeah, bloatware. No one knows how to code. I'm going to show you Expedition 33. Expedition 33 is flipping 55 gigabytes. It requires a 6800 XT for recommended, which is the same graphics card that is required for Oblivion Remastered on recommended. What is your excuse here? Better yet, it can run on 16 gigabytes of frippin' RAM compared to Oblivion Remastered, which needs 32 if I remember correctly. We'll go back to it just in case. Half the size. This is the new Atlas-like game. Yeah, it's actually like Final Fantasy, yes. Specifically Final Fantasy. It's turn-based, but you can do dodge and parries in the middle of combat. How can this be made in the modern era then? Actually, the processor's a lot higher than Oblivion Remastered for recommended, though. 55, that's still massive. That is not for a modern game. Best thing with Bethesda in over a decade, a few instability issues, rare crash. Yeah, a few? Why is this a top review right now? You know, the biggest issues of playing the game, I mean, gameplay's a huge part of a game, right? Or else you just watch a movie and read a book and other things, but because if it affects the gameplay a lot, then you're not going to want to play it. But a good game now, looking good as well. You mean looking better? Whatever. All right, here we go. Wait a minute, there's the negative. I won't have to go to the negative reviews. Notice that it says 10 Jester Awards. The performance on this remaster is currently unacceptable. Correct. It heavily relies on AI upscaling and frame gen. Correct. If it's even an option, he only played for an hour. But these are options you could check in the first hour, so it's not really that surprising. Hopefully in the first hour they went outside like I did. I think I made it outside of the sewer in the first hour, and it already showed that there was already frame rate issues. This comes at both a great cost to the visuals and a huge hit to input delay. Correct. I'm willing to forgive certain negative artistic choices for the quality of life upgrades, but I cannot recommend this game until the issues are ironed out. I also said the same thing. Well, hold on. The open world is essentially unplayable, full of stuttering, and runs at an extremely erratic frame rate. I think this is... I don't know how this is on consoles, on PS5 or Xbox One X, but on PC it's a terrible port. If you want to run the game on low for improved performance, be my guest. However, the game still has stutters and low, has a bevy of new graphical bugs, flicker, artifacts, etc. Yes, and I proved that in my video. They were not present in my testing on medium and high. Ultra isn't even worth testing as no one can run the game even on a 50. That's not true. Okay, I'll just flat out say that's not true. Bow wow. You can run this. I have a 7900 XT, and you can run this if you want, but not well. I'm not saying it's like you can run it above 60, yeah, but not all the time. Like I said, we were in Kvatch and it was running below 60. I don't know if that's an AMD problem, but it just doesn't work well. Do not be trapped with a lack of refund. The opening area of the game runs well and sets a false expectation. Correct. Being inside runs better than being outside, which is kind of common for video games of the modern era. They have a big issue of not being able to run things in big open worlds because there's so much bloat. Another negative review. Hear me out. What if no human was actually involved with this remaster? It's all done by AI. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like mess ups of not AI, but a human. It feels like the art direction was a human choice. That's why. I was really looking forward to playing this weekend, but I can't even reach a steadily 60 frames per second on low on 1080p with 3070 Ti. That's a decent graphics card too, and that's above the recommended, isn't it? Because it's 3070 Ti, I think is more powerful than a 2080. And that's for the recommended, not on low. Until the game receives an optimization update, I would not recommend playing. I agree with that. You gotta wait until, if you really want this, you really think the graphics are worth it and the gameplay changes, whatever. I would still wait until there's a patch in like the month, within the month. Do not worry about FOMO. You're not doing this to play with friends. You're doing this for yourself. You have time. And a lot of people want to touch on specs and saw my PC, say my PC's old. What do you think the average computer is running? Look at the Steam hardware survey from March 2025. There might be human error with that, but that's still true. People are playing stuff on laptops more often than not. 3060, 4060, 4060 Ti, 3060 Ti, those are the tops. 1650 is the fourth most. Yeah, the 1050 Ti is up there still to this day. You know, as I was saying, the loud minority of people that have like the large, even me, I'm technically part of the minority with my setup. Like 79XT didn't even show up on the Steam hardware review as one of the, it's in the other section. It's not even part of it. The XTX is up there, but mine isn't. So I know I'm in a vocal minority. But when the higher end is complaining, that means the lower end is going to be more likely complaining as well. 2060 top 10, yep. 0.91% of users are using a 4090. That's correct. More than 70% are using 8 gigabytes of VRAM or less, which is insane. I am not saying the game is unplayable, but it's not the smooth, enjoyable experience that I'm looking for at this time. Correct. I will lower my settings as much as I can for a smoother experience. There's barely a difference in the performance even at 720p low. There's also been an issue in the open world indoors is great. That's correct. See, it's been a consistent criticism because it's true. Not just you can visually tell it's true. You know, observation, experimentation, scientific method. Do my eyes deceive me? Do my ears deceive me? A game that isn't running smoothly for more than half the users, not a user issue. Correct. The frame drone is fake frames. Correct. Do not tell me you're getting 120 frames per second, then tell me you're using MFG 4 times. Yeah. So far, my experiences with the remaster has been excellent. They managed to keep the essence of Oblivion through and through, and with how strange the characters look, the beautiful and absolute meme memorable soundtrack. Way more than Oblivion ever was. Okay. Skyrim was the big thing that like people finally turned over to Bethesda games for that. Eating this piece of cheese is more enjoyable than playing Oblivion Remastered. The Radiant AI making you laugh If I just wanted to play all those things you mentioned, I would just play the original game. Why in the world would I pay $50 to have the same experience if I already own the game? Better yet, even if I didn't already own the game, the Oblivion, like what I bought Oblivion for like $5, the Game of the Year edition. Why would I pay 10 times that? My favorite PC games are ones I can just get it lost in the gameplay despite the graphics. This remaster just goes entirely against that thought style. It does. It really does. I don't feel like I'm immersed in Oblivion now. You took out the soul of Oblivion. The lighting, the colors, you know, they're gone. They're gone. If I just wanted to play the game, I'd probably just play Skyrim. That are thankfully not even some bugs that are thankfully not game-breaking are kept in. They shouldn't be kept in. That's what... I said the same thing with Skyrim. Some of those bugs that are in there should not have been in there. Like the being able to go underneath Whiterun should not be able to be possible. No matter how many people like it to do that, or the hidden chest in Dawnstar that has no quest relevance whatsoever. Those things should not be in the game. The Augma Infinitum glitch was patched out because it should have never been in the game, but I own the PS3 version. I remember when that what was it, 1.01 patch just for that glitch specifically. It was a big deal back then. There are some changes that feels ever so slightly out of place. Yeah, oh, here we go. Here we go, dumbass coming in with the good takes, finally. It was an attempt to modernize it. Durability feels off. After almost every quest, I feel the need to go back and repair equipment when I don't even remember having this feeling in the original. Clothing, especially if you're wearing them because they're enchanted, break in just a few hits. Light armor also feels a lot less durable. Makes me wonder if that was tied to FPS. I don't like durability much in any game. I don't like it in The Witcher 3. I don't like it in Oblivion. Skyrim has no issue with it because they took it out. Did you just level acrobatics with the auto jump on? Yeah. Acrobatics, you level up just by jumping. I'm like, you have to fix this fundamentally. There's a reason why I got taken out in Skyrim, because it was dumb. The idea in Oblivion is that, oh, you level up acrobatics, you jump higher. Okay, how useful is that, though, in comparison to, like, load or carry equipment, stuff like that? I had level 35 acrobatics by the time I got out of the sewer. You know how insane that is? 35 out of 100. I started out, like, level 7. Weapons across the board all seem to have this combo system. Yes, they do! Yup! Someone finally talking about it. Where after a few slashes you do, which almost feels like a heavy attack, you get a breather to decide if you should block, dodge, or continue swinging afterwards. In the original, you could swing weapons willy-nilly and only need to worry if your stamina is getting low. That is a fundamental change, which makes it different to fight enemies in this game. I'd argue that's a remake of something than it is a remaster of something. In my opinion, it's a nice change, but certain weapons like two-handed swords feel incredibly slow for the amount of damage you're doing. Correct. I don't think it's a better change. I'd rather swing willy-nilly. You could still do that in Skyrim, swing willy-nilly. There's even a skill that you get critical damage if you're running and swinging. Every race getting unique voice acting is such a welcome change. It's a great way to breathe a little life into the game without getting rid of anything, and they do a great job to feel very in-world and a little off in a good way. My only complaint is that the orcs seem to be struggling between wanting to sound superior or like a court jester, and they couldn't come to an agreement. Almost every orc in the original was a little silly too, but it was endearing and quite frankly hilarious. I love the remaster. Cannot wait to continue getting into my favorite areas. Why is everyone British people talking? Where are the Americans at that are playing this? Everyone's European! UE5 might be causing a lot of the problems for modern and slightly older hardware, like correct, but and they also don't know how to optimize any game even without it. UE5 is just part of the symptom, but it's a bigger disease or illness of the gaming industry. But you can't get over how gorgeous they managed to make. Okay. I can get over it because I've seen better looking games. All right, next review. It's fantastic. There's some stability and performance issues. If you're okay with locking your frames to like 30 or 45, it's playable and enjoyable. Got him, and look at that. I got all the Jester rewards. They're right. Oh my goodness. Oblivion Remastered is nothing short of a masterpiece. Oh, these guys don't play games. Or better, wait, 767 products on account. Are you a bot account? I'm glad this one got Jester Awards, because that's an insane statement. I don't even think Oblivion should have been Game of the Year it came out, but I gotta remember all the games that came out in 2006. Not hard competition in 2006. What, Tenkaichi 2? I think that was 2005. There are not players or consumers, right? Or they're just part of the fad, part of the trend. They just want to keep joining it. They would feel good about being part of something. FOMO, despite it being a single-player game. Something to talk to your friends about, your online friends about, or something. I don't know. Bethesda and Virtuos have outdone themselves by preserving the heart and soul of the original game. You don't know what soul is. The stunning visuals, powered by Unreal Engine 5, transformed Cyrodiil into a breathtaking immersive world with lush landscapes, detailed character models, and dynamic. Imagine asking for the bare minimum and thinking it's the great. You will eat garbage and think it's the greatest thing you've ever tasted because you don't know the difference. We need baked-in lighting. We need to go back to baked-in lighting. Dynamic lighting that make every corner of the map a joy to explore. Okay, I know this is subjective, but I don't think you know what good lighting is. The gameplay enhancements are equally impressive, from smoother combat mechanics to a revamped user interface. It's just Skyrim's interface. Every aspect feels polished and intuitive. The addition of a sprinting mechanic to improve animations adds a layer of fluidity that was missing in the original. Yet the game retains its nostalgic charm, complete with the quirky NPC interactions and occasional bugs that fans have come to love. That's a bot. Are you? Imagine saying, yes, we love bugs in our modern game. We want our. You know what? If there was a bug in the original, we'd just put in the remaster. Are you insane? You would, if you said this about any other game that came out this year, you would be complaining like no other. What truly sets Oblivion Remastered apart is its faithfulness to the original narrative. The epic story of the hero. I think they changed some dialogues in here. Body type 1 and 2. The epic story of the hero Kavanch remains as compelling as ever, with both new and original voice act that adds depth and emotion to the characters. Whether you're a longtime fan or a newcomer to the Elder Scrolls series, this remaster offers an unforgettable journey through a world brimming with adventure, intrigue, and magic. People are going to forget it by the end of the year. Unless this is up for Game of the Year, which is insane because it's a flippin' remaster. In short, Oblivion Remastered is a shining example of how to honor a classic while making it accessible and enjoyable for a new generation of players. It is a must-play for RPG enthusiasts and a testament to the enduring legacy of the Elder Scrolls franchise. I don't think so. Nice try, but let's try some more negative. I need more negativity now, because I think they're more honest. It's ultra-wide, but unfortunately the performance is not so great. Really nostalgic. So many negative chance. Performance issues. 50 pounds? Is it 50 pounds over there? 50 euros? It's just a performance. The whole concept of Remastered is baffling. Everything from the combat to UI to character design exists in this uncanny valley state. I agree. That's the problem. It looks too much uncanny valley. It doesn't go all the way with the good graphics. This review is written for someone who loves Skyrim to bits but has never played Oblivion. With that in mind, I really wanted to like this game. The thing is, I do think I could like this game, just not for the price it is right now. Yup. Buggy still, outdated combat mechanics. Yup. Price issue, performance issues, changes that I don't think are good. It's overhyped and you know it's not worth 50. I agree. Okay, I don't need to read the rest. I'm glad a lot of these are refunded though. Poorly optimized, shocker, amazing remaster, but unbelievably terrible. Okay, I think that's good. I think we got it.